Thanks again for staying up later. Our guest tonight is Denny Dillon, who is on HBO's Dream On. She's received 3 Ace nominations for her work as Tony Petalby, the Secretary from Hell. Toby Petalby, Secretary from Hell. But you're no stranger to the sound of applause in this studio, 8H, because for a year you were part of the cast of Saturday Night Live.
That's right, Bob. In fact, this is the most relaxed I've ever been walking out in the stage, you know?
Because of the tension and the anxiety.
Well, yeah, because Saturday Night Live is a pretty electric show to be on because it's going, you know, across the nation to all these people via the cameras, and then there's always a live audience, so it's a pretty charged atmosphere, and it's kind of really very nice and relaxing and comforting being here now. And I really do love being here. It's bringing back a lot of memories.
What was the worst screw-up that ever happened to you on SNL? If, in fact, there's all that anxiety...
That I can mention?
Oh, yeah, actually, you were on the year that Charles rocketed himself right out of the business just about, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty intense... that was a pretty intense mistake, and it actually was a mistake. He said the big F word on TV, and it sort of just slipped out. What had happened was we were supposed to have more time, and then the camera zoomed up really quickly right into the heavens, and we were kind of left hanging there.
What happened afterwards? He says...
Well,
what he said.
Yeah, he said what he said, and then it was, you know, amazing because it truly was a mistake. You know, he didn't mean to say it. There was nothing purposeful about it, and then it was just, you know, we all stood there in kind of shock, and the camera zoomed up, and then we quickly rolled the credits, and everything was done, and wow, what's going to happen?
Was it right at the end of the show?
Yes, it was at the end of the show.
So you didn't have to continue with additional skits or anything?
No, what it was there was this extra time in the show, so they said give it more time, and so it happened, and then, you know, it was then kind of chaotic afterwards.
What's the worst foul-up that you were ever involved in?
Well, you know, I don't know if there was any big foul-up, but I remember that the first show I was doing, I was playing Amy Carter in a sketch. Jimmy Carter was the president at the time. And then we had 60 seconds, and I was in a, you know, you just stand there like a doll, kind of, and they take you, and I changed wigs, I changed makeup, I changed shoes, I changed... they put rings on, fingernails, and I became Pinky Waxman, dress, everything. That was all within 60 seconds, which to the quick change artists at Saturday Night Live, that was actually a long time for them.
Yeah.
A really quick change is 30 seconds, and then they just throw you on the set and put a microphone on you, because, see, on Saturday Night Live, the order of the show changes at 11:20, and then you're live at 11:30, so you really start the show not knowing exactly what sketch you're going to do.
Mr. President, is it true that you're from Hollywood?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I co-starred in over 56 pictures.
Do you know John Travolta?
No, but I do know Jimmy Stewart.
And his wife. They're Republicans, too. Do you know Christy McNichol? Calm down and eat your grapefruit. Oh, I love grapefruit. I always hated grits.
They also cut lines. So, I mean, I have a photographic memory, so I had a really good, easily would memorize lines, but you couldn't memorize them exactly because there was a big chance that they would cut some of the lines, so you had to be aware, you know, to, like, make a reference to the cue cards. But it was pretty thrilling, you know, because after you do Saturday Night Live, you feel like you could be a brain surgeon or, you know, be in a war. You know, I mean, you feel like there's really very little that you can't do.
Do you really have a photographic memory?
I really do.
This was the first I heard of this. Now, I don't know if it's a fair test.
But, oh, you're going to... No, don't.
Entertain these folks. I'll be back in just a minute. Hang on here. I'll give you your choice.
Oh, well... You see, the trouble
choice.
is I can't seem to forget anything.
Let's
I mean,
see.
I remember the menu at Papaya King. I remember, you know... I remember what my college boyfriend, the appetizer he ordered when he broke up with me, and...
What did he order?
It was a sweet and sour pork, and it was... I should have known.
Don't throw me straight lines this way.
You know? I remember things they don't even want to know on Jeopardy, you know?
You know, I realize these are all prop books. They're all prop books. The best thing I've come up with so far is Paul Erdman's money book.
Oh,
hang on to that.
All right.
Maybe we can do better than that.
Well, I'll remember this graph, right?
I'm trying to find something where maybe it would be possible
Like, I remember the difference between stalagmites and stalactites.
Which one hangs down and which one goes up?
Well, stalac, C from the ceiling, stalag, G from the ground. But it's like, will it get me dates? Who wants to know this? You know, I mean, no one wants to know this information. It's very hard in relationships because people don't remember how they tortured you. So why should you?
It's like how you remember the Great Lakes. Holmes, right?
Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, and then there's another one.
Superior, Ontario.
Yeah.
All right, here is...
Capital of Iceland, Reykjavik, you know. Who wants to know this? It's difficult. My mother, she has her own way of dealing with it. She doesn't remember anything, so she just says it didn't happen.
Well, now, here's Alan Dershowitz's book, The Best Defense, The Courtroom Confrontations of America's Most Outspoken Lawyer of Last Resort, the lawyer who won the Klaus von Bülow appeal. Now, I don't know if this is...
I feel very under pressure. When I say photographic memory, it's like I remember that it was on the bottom of the page. I can't, you know what I mean?
You remember if it was left or right.
Right, left or right. It was right here or if you know.
So this isn't fair for me to say, look at these blurbs on the back of Alan Dershowitz's book and memorize them.
All of them?
Let's say 3 of them.
Oh, gosh, this is so hard. Let's talk about something different, like scuba diving. Did you know I'm a certified scuba diver?
I did not know that.
Well, I think it's something you should know. And, I mean, you know, not that many actresses can go underwater. And I was in Maui, you know, and I became a certified scuba diver. And, you know, you communicate with hand signals, right? Because you have this regulator in your mouth. So you say things like, you know, okay, not so good, or what do you mean? So I was underneath the water, and I saw a very big fish swim out of this part of the cave and into another. So I said to my scuba instructor, shark?
Is that the international symbol for shark when underwater?
And he said, yes, it is. He was very excited, you know, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And then it's like, you know, when you're underwater, objects appear 25% larger. That's why guys love diving. So, great. So, he says, oh, let's stay here, you know, because it's over there. Well, I knew about the 25% closer thing, but over there seemed like right here. So I said, let's go, let's stay, let's go, let's stay. I'm leaving. So, anyways, it's very exciting swimming, diving.
That's your
very
hobby
relaxing.
now? This is what you do to get away?
Yeah.
How much time do you have away from Dream On? It's probably a pretty grueling schedule, right?
Well, we just finished doing 26 episodes, and they're airing right now. It's in its 4th season. So right now I'm on hiatus probably till November. And then hopefully we'll begin our 5th season.
And you've received 3 Ace nominations. The
That's
show itself
right.
is obviously critically acclaimed, and getting a boost from a coupling with Gary Shandling's Larry Sanders Show and the
the
spots
best hour
that
on TV
he and
they
Brian
call it.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, we recently were nominated for 5 Emmys, so that was thrilling because Dream On has not really been recognized by the Emmys, so that was pretty great, you know.
I've seen several episodes, but you could probably do a better job than me. For those who haven't seen it, how would you describe the premise of the show?
Well, the premise of the show is there's all these old clips, and actually that was the origin of the show. And what it's about is a New York book editor, and he's recently divorced, and he watched too much television when he was growing up, so every time something happens to him in his life, he has a flashback of an old TV clip.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes back and forth from Color, which is this New York office where I play his secretary from hell, Toby Petalby. And by the way, I get a lot of mail from secretaries, you know, and I tell them, don't do this at home. This is, you know, a TV series.
Do they appreciate
Yeah, they
your
appreciate how I tell them what to do because, you know, it's sort of like I'm the boss, you know what I mean? I'm always telling him what to do because he's off busy having an affairs with women. And there's also, a little spicy kind of sex on the show, too. It's an adult comedy series.
Yeah, and there was one storyline, though, where it turned out that you had what amounted to a 37-year itch, right? Yeah,
you found out that I was a 37-year-old virgin, which is maybe why I'm so edgy.
Yeah, that would account for a certain buildup of stress.
That
I would think.
would account for something, and unfortunately, I fell in love with the wonderful Dan Castellaneta. I just adore him. And I tap danced because the creators knew that I used to be on Broadway and I tap dance, so they have me tap dancing in the street. It was a really great episode. 5, so I play this kind of abrasive, kind of nuts, you know, hardcore secretary, kind of New York paranoid type, always imagining the worst possible scenario and figuring out how she'll deal with it. And it's a wonderful role. I really enjoy playing it.
How long a run do you anticipate with Dream
With
On? Is
Dream
it the kind
On?
of thing you would, if it was on for 10 years, would you stay for 10 years?
That's a hard question. You know, my contract is for so long. My contract was like, I can't imagine it going for 10 years. How long can he sleep with everyone? I mean, I know he'll have slept with every woman in New York. Pretty soon he'll be sleeping with me.
How much does your Catholic upbringing figure in your stand-up act?
Well, it figures a lot in my stand-up act because I talk about, you know, growing up Irish Catholic in Cleveland, Ohio, and I feel like I survived, you know, that I was a survivor. And I remember that when I was in Catholic school and I read about the saints and I think, gee, I think it'd be cool to be a martyr. Because I thought then I could get out of Cleveland and go straight to heaven. I know all about doing Catholic stuff on television because, you know, in 1975, before I was on Saturday Night Live as a regular, I was a guest on Saturday Night Live, and that was in the first year of the series. And I did a sketch called Talent Night in the Convent. And I know all about censors and...
Was this bit, in your mind, over the line, or were the
I didn't
censors
think
overly
so.
sensitive?
I think the censors were perhaps, you know, I think they, you know, they draw the line.
Well, let me just start it off with a joke I read about in Catholic World. The little fella says to his girlfriend, "Hey, Sally, would you like to go play hide and go seek?" And Sally says, "Well, all right, but no fair asking St. Anthony to help you find me." Oh, don't get me started.
It was trimmed down. It was a long sketch that Lorne Michaels liked, but the censors wanted to cut it, so we're cutting it.
And what was the reaction?
I don't know. I guess there were a lot of phone calls while we were on the air. It was only a minute.
But nothing came to you directly? You
No,
didn't get
no.
mail directly about it? Now, before we clear out of here, I didn't realize this until I took a look at the research. We were students at Syracuse University at the same time.
That's right. I think we're both famous alumni.
Big school, but we didn't know each other. Right? Are these Syracuse people applauding up in the balcony?
You know, I want to say thank you to Syracuse because they gave me a scholarship. And I wouldn't have been able to go to college if it weren't for that. And I feel very grateful to Syracuse. I got a great education, and they paid for it.
See Denny Dillon as Toby Petalby, the secretary from hell, on HBO's Dream On Wednesday nights and various other times. The first showing each week is Wednesday. Oh, it's just Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
That's it?
Saturdays at 10, Wednesdays at 10:30. I think there might be Tuesday at 1 a.m.
Check your local listings. We're out of here. See you later, folks.